In this video, we are going to study about the inverse trigonometric functions. For the inverse trigonometric functions, you know the inverse function. Firstly, inverse function logic. If x is equal to, if fx is equal to y, then inverse of f is x is equal to f inverse y form we were writing. So it's same with the trigonometric functions. Only the instead of sine inverse, sometimes we can use arc sine. Arc sine means inverse of sine. Okay. Now, if I simply explain this one with some numerical examples, cosine alpha, if it is equal to a, then alpha is going to be equal to arc cosine a. Or if cosine 30 is equal to, if cosine 30 is equal to root 3 over 2, then this cosine goes to the other side and it becomes like this. 30 degree is equal to arc cosine root 3 over 2, it should be. Okay, the inverse trigonometric functions means this one. And we have here on this page also definition intervals. So inverse trigonometric function should be defined between minus pi over 2 and pi over 2 for sine function, for cosine 0 and pi, for tangent 0 minus pi over 2 and pi, and for cotangent function, arc cotangent, it should be defined between 0 and pi. It should be so arc cosine and arc cotangent in same interval, tangent and arc sine and arc tangent in the same interval. It's going to be as you see here. Only the for sine and cosine boundaries are included. For tangent and cotangent boundaries, they are not going to be included. If we solve some numerical example here, arc sine alpha is equal to arc sine 1 over 2 and find the value of it. Firstly, arc sine 1 over 2 is going to be equal to one angle. So it means that sine alpha, there is sine alpha, and the result is equal to 1 over 2. And I'm going to find this alpha. Here, arc sine 1 over 2, if it's equal to alpha, it means that 1 over 2 is equal to sine alpha, or sine alpha is equal to 1 over 2. If you remember from the hand rule, when sine alpha is equal to 1 over 2, alpha must be equal to 30 degree. And this angle is between 0 and, minus pi over 2 and pi over 2 degree is going to be. Or you can write, or alpha is equal to pi over 6, which is 30 degree also. Now we are going to solve arc sine minus root 3 over 2. We have to be careful about the minus sign here, as you see, because we know this one, sine minus alpha is equal to minus sine of alpha. So it's going to be, firstly, alpha is equal to sine alpha is going to be equal to, for this one, if arc sine minus root 3 over 2 is equal to alpha, then sine alpha is going to be equal to minus root 3 over 2. Sine alpha is equal to minus root 3 over 2 is going to be. Here we have minus sign. So this minus sign we can solve like this. This is going to be, we know normally, sine 60, we know that it's equal to root 3 over 2. Sine alpha is equal to minus sine 60. And we know this one also, minus sine alpha is equal to sine minus alpha, which is equal to sine alpha is equal to sine minus 60. So alpha is going to be equal to minus 60 degree. Here it can be also alpha is equal to minus pi over 3. Both of them, they are going to give us same result. So for the negative, we have to be careful. Angle is also, it should be negative for sine. For cosine, it is not same. Okay. Here we have arc cosine examples. Arc cosine root 3 over 2. So arc cosine root 3 over 2, if it's equal to alpha, this implies that cosine alpha is equal to root 3 over 2. For which angle cosine alpha is root 3 over 2? We know this one. Cosine 30, we know that cosine 30 is equal to root 3 over 2. So alpha is equal to 30 degree. Okay, the second one is arc cosine root 2 over 2. Arc cosine root 2 over 2, let's say it's equal to beta. Then cosine beta is equal to root 2 over 2. So we know that cosine 45 is equal to root 2 over 2. Then here beta is going to be equal to 45 degree. And the question is asking arc cosine here, arc cosine root 3 over 2, which is here, which is alpha plus, here I said this is beta, it's asking alpha plus beta. So alpha plus beta is equal to 30 plus 45, and the result is going to be alpha plus beta is going to be equal to 75 degree. Now we are going to continue with the arctangent here, and arc cosine we have negative also here. So firstly I'm going to solve arctangent 1. What is it? Let's say this is alpha, this is alpha, this is beta, and this is gamma here. Now I know this one. Here alpha plus beta plus, alpha plus, the question is asking alpha plus 2 beta plus gamma. Gamma I said, but I have written here alpha again. Okay, then ladies and gentlemen, I have to find one by one what is alpha, beta, and gamma. If arctangent 1 is equal to alpha, it means that this implies that tangent alpha is equal to 1. So alpha is, 45 degrees it's going to be. We can calculate this one from the table. The second one, this is 1, 2, arctangent root 3 over 3, arctangent root 3 over 3 is equal to beta. This implies that tangent beta is equal to root 3 over 3. Root 3 over 3. For which angle it was root 3 over 3? Here we know that for, actually we should tell also here this one, root 3 over 3 at the same time it's equal to 1 over root 3. Opposite side is 1, adjacent side is root 3, which means this is tangent 30 is equal to root 3 over 3 or 1 over root 3. So beta is equal to 45, beta is 30 degree is going to be. The last one. Here the third one is arc cosine. Arc cosine minus 1 over 2 is going to be equal to gamma, and cosine gamma is equal to minus 1 over 2. Here we have one problem. The problem is normally cosine 60 is equal to 1 over 2, but cosine minus 60 is also equal to 1 over 2. So what we are going to do here? Here we are going to use the definition interval. Gamma must be element of 0 to pi, if you remember, 0 to 180 degree, if you remember. And it means that I'm going to use here reduction formula. Cosine 180 minus gamma, I'm not going to change the function, is equal to minus cosine gamma. So cosine 180 minus 60 is equal to minus cosine 60, it's going to be, and that's equal to minus 1 over 2, which I am looking for. So cosine 120 is going to be equal to minus 1 over 2. It means that gamma is equal to 120. Now I'm going to write the last one. Alpha plus 2 beta plus gamma is equal to 45 plus 2 times 30 plus 120, it's going to be, and the result is going to be equal to 45 plus 60 plus 120, that's equal to 225 degree. Let's continue. Okay, this is the answer of this question. After all these are, if we summarize the inverse trigonometric function values, we are going to understand this one. Firstly, if arcsine, the value is x equals to a, it means that, or sine alpha is going to be equal to, x. And the second part, the negative for the sine, if the result is negative, like arcsine x minus x, if we have, it's equal to alpha. It means that minus x is going to be equal to sine alpha, and this x is equal to minus sine alpha, which is equal to minus sine alpha. Sine minus alpha also it can be, but for the cosine sine minus alpha it can be, but for the cosine it is not same. If arc cosine x is equal to alpha, it means that cosine alpha is equal to x. If arc cosine minus x is equal to alpha, it means that cosine alpha is equal to minus x, and cosine pi minus alpha is equal to minus cosine alpha is going to be, which is equal to here minus cosine alpha is equal to x. So we are going to find cosine minus alpha in terms of pi minus alpha, which is also a reduction formula.